2 years ago, I went around our island to look for the best Hokkien Mee, and I found Swee Guan Hokkien Mee. Since then, I've seen a lot of promising Hokkien Mees pop out on my social media feed, but I always had another series at hand. So today, I've divined 3 of the currently most popular Hokkien Mees on our island from the sages of the old world, aka the Hokkien Mee Hunting Facebook group. And we're gonna try all of them and then revisit Swee Guan to see if there's a new king in town. And because we just finished the Best Bak Chor Mee series, I want to know which is the better noodle dish in Singapore. I'm super excited. It's been so long since I wanted to do Hokkien Mee. It's a Hokkien Mee special today, baby! Let's get it, guys. $6吃的加注6块，哎，不是加1块吗？以前是这样，我们哦 ，OK， 这个，谢谢。We are now at Atia Hokkien Mee. I didn't quite understand what he was saying. I ordered the $6 with add lard, and then he told me that add lard don't need money anymore. But now I get 6 pieces of lard. Isn't this the normal amount of lard and then you add a top of this? And we have a super starchy version. You can see the cracks on the surface. Anyway, enough yap. You know how the previous generation always say that the hawker food in their time is better, that now the taste is different already, that Jordan is better than LeBron? I don't know whether I'll eventually go there, but what I will say is that if this was in the best Hokkien Mee series, might be top 3. It's exactly the wet Hokkien Mee that wet Hokkien Mee lovers will want. Ultra flavorful to the point that 3 to 4 mouths in, it gets so heavy, both in terms of the texture and the flavor. We talk about the taste first. This taste, it is remarkably familiar. I don't know who their shifu is, but I feel like I've eaten this Hokkien Mee like 20 years ago, back in my uni days. If y'all come here and try this, can you let me know if it tastes familiar to you too? The balance of porkiness and seafood, textbook. And then we move on to the texture, thickened very well by the starch. A little bit of a recap, starch texture, you see these cracks? It's brought about by the starch seeping out to the noodles, gelatinizing and thickening it. It doesn't add flavor, but it helps bind everything very effectively. If you do not match this texture with flavor, right, it will taste super cakey and not enjoyable. But they have definitely matched it here. However, the risk of going so heavy is that you'll hit the Hokkien Mee gelat wall soon. Yet another recap, Hokkien Mee is a gamble. The more flavor you put into the noodles, the closer the gelat wall will be. Like we have had some Hokkien Mees that the first 3 mouths are like incredible, but then it gets cloying very quick. But on this plate, the solution is right here. They give you 2 limes for the smallest plate, so you can make it very sour, and the chili is very spicy. You literally see the chili seeds. They are the perfect answer to this flavor. It really turns the flavor 180. For those of you who like to add lime and mix in the chili from the get-go, you can ignore what I just said. But personally, I think the better way to eat Hokkien Mee is to have it as is first and then add the other stuff later. At least for the good Hokkien Mee. All the top tier Hokkien Mees, you really want to get the unadulterated flavor first. And then when it gets too heavy, then you curb it. Also, very good value. $6 for this much at this flavor level. We've been through this. So many recaps. The more expensive thing in Hokkien Mee are the noodles. They are the ones that suck up all the broth. And any good Hokkien Mee chef will tell you that's the expensive part, because you really have to invest ingredients into the broth for the flavor to shine. Interesting. A worthy contender. Let's move on to the next stop. We are now in Punggol at Huat Hokkien Mee. I got their $6 and I added an egg. I don't know why I added an egg. I just ordered just because. I don't think a fried egg does particularly well with Hokkien Mee. You are technically supposed to have all the richness you need in the noodles. You don't need an egg yolk. And fried eggs are notoriously hard to cook. You can see the snotty whites. But I just I like the color. This pale off yellow color. If you see Hokkien Mee that is very vibrant in color, it's usually gonna be bad. This pale yellow is because the browning of frying the Hokkien Mee is being dissolved into the stock, resulting in this like almost dirty color. Anyway, we also have bihun instead of 粗米粉. Let's get into it. Unlike the satay bihun and chao guo scene in Singapore, I think the Hokkien Mee scene is well and truly alive. It is actually remarkably similar to Jie. Almost the same hits. Very creamy texture matched with enough flavor. And one thing I didn't mention just now is Wok Hei. Ironically, wow, oh, this is a spicy take already. Is this too early in the video for a spicy take? Yeah, it's too early. I'll leave it for later. You know what else is spicy? What the best segue. The chili is very spicy, similar to Jie. This is like nasi ayam penyet spicy. I added like half only and it just burns up, which works very well in a rich dish like this. Also, I didn't mention this throughout the Hokkien Mee series, but I think I like bihun instead of chun mi fen. A yellow noodle and thick rice bihun is thick. Having the texture difference is quite fun in my opinion. I like the thick thin. But there are misses this time. One is that the prawn is pretty soft. Could be not as fresh, could be overcooked. But I don't know if it's sacrilegious to say. I don't think the prawn meat is very important in Hokkien Mee. And speaking about the thick flavor I didn't mention just now, you can see these streaks of brown, oil fried eggs adds a lot to the fragrance. The next miss, I fully recognize that it's a user error, but fried egg doesn't go with Hokkien Mee. You have something that is very rich and fatty, and then you add more richness to it. It's like showering, right? And then fully soaping yourself already. But when you turn on the shower again, more soap comes out instead of water. It feels like that. Again, totally user error. I just don't recommend adding egg with Hokkien Mee. Wow, the youngsters nowadays good, huh? Let's move on to our third contender. We are now at Chuan Huat Fried Hokkien Mee along Circuit Road, and I got their $6 version, which comes with a good amount of lard. I would have liked more, which is a common theme across all three Hokkien Mees today. Why is it so complicated to order lard? I want more, and I don't expect it to be free. I don't want to ask to add lard and then like a bit pricey to take, not sure how much you will give. I want to pay and then get the amount that I want. And I also don't want to ask if it's not on the menu. But anyway, all three Hokkien Mees today, I will not be able to tell apart visually, other than the first one having chun mi fen. Looks great though. Let's get it. I'm so mad. Ever since the Hokkien Mee series ended, I've been eating Hokkien Mee near my area, and they are garbage. I'm obviously not gonna say which place. Some of you might think, Eldred always very nice one. That's because the places that I do go are already curated by y'all. Anyway, I'm so mad because this is the level of Hokkien Mee that people are eating. Why isn't there one like this near my house? I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that the strategy for all three plates today are the same. Strong flavors, make it starchy, counter with super spicy chili and lime. The only difference there are the broths, which is really hard to split apart. If I were to call it, I would say the first one is more porky, the second one is a bit more seafoody, maybe even has clams in it. Well, this one is just more even, with one miss that I'll get to later. In last week's video, I said something like, in terms of the number of stalls having a signature flavor, Bak Chor Mee wins. I think that holds true. Like super honestly, if you were to blind taste test me today on all these three plates, I might not reliably be able to tell them apart as compared to like 25 versus Jing Si Lai versus Hock Lai Sing. You get what I mean? But anyway, there's one miss. The key flavor in these noodles are stronger. I'm not sure whether it is because they try to keep it drier. So those of you who have watched the Hokkien Mee series will know that dry and wet Hokkien Mee are the same. It's just when the chef decides to call it. For wet Hokkien Mee, you keep feeding it until it goes past saturation point, until the noodles cannot absorb anymore. For the dry one, you call it at a certain point and let it dry up. So here, at least for this plate, they don't try to overfeed it, which, you know, up to your personal preference. But I would say the yellow noodles taste is stronger. Still really good though. Oh, so mad. Everybody else is eating proper Hokkien Mee while I'm eating I'm not sure what. I did not expect all three to be contenders. These three are easily better than 3/4 of my previous series. But is it better than the most important one? I'll see you guys there. We're back, boys. How, we'll get scolded or not? I'll try to get scolded 1 pay 1.4. Any bets? 吃了小的一盘 好的 Never get scolded. Yay. Actually, I don't know yet. Maybe. It's not over yet. Thank you. We are so back. Exactly what I remember. $8 is definitely not enough if you want to eat properly, but just nice for me if I'm tasting. We see the same burnt bits, we see the lard being cooked together, and we actually get 4 prawns. 4 of the biggest prawns today, because they know prawn is cheap. The noodles are the expensive part. Okay, no more yapping. Do you all think when a place standard drop, right, is it more likely that the place changed or the person changed? It's still the same appeal. The way they are able to convert their Hokkien Mee flavor into this creamy sauce is phenomenal. If you have ever tap out Swee Guan back home, you know that there is a lot of fat in these noodles. When you buy it back, the whole paper wrapping is drenched. But when you have it here, all this fat is being binded into the noodles. Almost like an emulsification. Every mouthful is so packed with flavor. In great balance. You get seafood, you get lard, you get pork, you get chives. I said that I wouldn't be able to differentiate the 3. I would definitely be able to tell Swee Guan apart. I like this flavor so much that I don't want to add the chili. I don't want to add the lime. I just want to stay here. And all this is despite having its standard drop already. I cannot really tease apart why, but today the flavors aren't as alive. If I were to guess why, it might be because they were a bit lazy on the reheating. These noodles didn't reach me very hot. If you guys already know, for most Hokkien Mees, it's usually a 2-part cooking process. There's the frying the noodles part and then the assembly part. If these noodles were hotter, I reckon the flavors will be more prominent. Well, in a sense, lucky their standard drop. If not, there will be nothing to think about. But now at least there's something to consider. Yeah, I'll see you guys at the cafe. We are now at the tuck shop assembly and I got myself an iced lemon tea. A bit too late for coffee. Damn, VLT nicer. Well, I learned something new about myself today. So we answer the easy question first. I like bak chor mee more than Hokkien Mee. I know. Bak chor mee just gives you more. It has very good noodles, it has toppings, it has soup, it has variety. Whereas Hokkien Mee, I'm not sure if it's just the ones that I picked for today. It's delicious, no doubt, but the scene isn't as vibrant. I know what you might be wondering. So what was that hot take, Eldrick? And do you really do a whole Hokkien Mee video without talking about Wok Hei? Yes, because Hokkien Mee is a bad dish to talk about Wok Hei. Why do you do this, Eldrick? Why must you do this? I skirted around this topic 2 years ago in the Swee Guan video, but today let's get into it. Let's talk about Wok Hei. Wok Hei is an incredibly complex cooking concept that I think 90% of the people referencing it don't understand it. People think that you just need a wok and then you cook with high heat and then you'll have Wok Hei, but that is so cute. Wok Hei is a relatively new dry heat cooking concept in the cooking world. The wok itself is ancient, but it is only relatively recently that we learned how to generate such incredible heat for cooking. Around the mid-20th century, when coal gas and LPG became common. In all honesty, I don't think the chefs then knew what was going on. They just knew that tossing the food at high heat made it super fragrant and that their customers loved it. Here I need you to understand how high is this high heat. Your household burner goes at about 5,000 to 10,000 BTU. In professional Western kitchens, you know where Gordon Ramsay goes like, "You donkey, the pan needs to be piping hot." Their stoves go for 20 to 30,000 BTU. The Chinese wok burners go at 80 to 150,000 BTUs. The howling that you hear from outside the restaurant is not their cooker hood. It is a fan blower, a turbo, blowing air into combustion. I don't know which genius came up with the idea. What I do know is that good things happen when you do that. I would generalize them into 3 things: vaporization, Maillard reaction, and evaporation. We go from easiest to understand to the hardest. Evaporation or moisture control. Between the convection patterns in a wok and the high heat, evaporation is fast and even. The question is, how do you want to use it? Which leads to our next point, the Maillard reaction, or more easily understood as browning. When you're able to flash the surface moisture of your ingredients so effectively, you are then better able to brown your amino acids and sugar. even letting your ingredients char microscopically so as to develop that nutty and roasty flavor. That's why you see Chinese chefs toss their ingredients vigorously, because at that level of heat, not moving it for like 3 seconds will cause it to burn. Whereas your cute little stove at home and your non-stick pan, you don't move it for 3 minutes also won't burn. And then we move to the hardest to visualize concept, vaporization. Do you all know what happens when you add a tablespoon of oil into a really hot wok? It literally turns into a puff of smoke. This ability to vaporize oils and sauce droplets into volatile aromatic compounds is the essence of Wok Hei. Guo qi, breath of the wok. The qi here refers to the dozens of volatile aromatic compounds that is in this tornado of flavor. So imagine with me, your soy sauce, your garlic, your oyster sauce, you convert them into vapor. And then like Netero from Hunter x Hunter, you zero hand it into the dish. The best dish to showcase Wok Hei is none other than fried rice. Every rice grain as it is dancing in the wok is being blasted with fragrance. When you look at the rice grain, you cannot see anything on it. But when you put it in your mouth, the flavor is so nuanced, it's so delicious, and it's so different from what you have at home. A properly cooked fried rice is a magical experience. Which brings us back to Hokkien Mee. It's wet. All the volatile compounds that you put in the air, the Wok Hei, you dunk broth on it, making it not volatile. Which isn't bad, it still tastes great. But it is not Wok Hei, it's not tea, it's zhi. But Audrey, I hear you ask, there's this unmistakable roastiness to the dish, right? Yes, because Hokkien Mee chefs are using Wok Hei wrongly, in the correct way. They are straight up burning it. If you look at the noodles here, in the few plates that we had today, there are tiny burn bits that are, strictly speaking, incorrect when it comes to the concept of Wok Hei. These are called wok si or wok poop. It means that you skill issue, you allow the ingredients to burn. However, Hokkien Mee chefs realize that by doing this, they can make the dish better. The broth that follows the frying step would help mellow out this harsh bitterness that these burnt parts would otherwise have. If you serve this in a dry dish, it will absolutely destroy it. Biting onto this will give this very stubborn bitterness. However, combining in a wet starchy dish, it adds an amazing fragrance. Everybody refers to the toastiness as Wok Hei, but it's technically incorrect. Oh my god, I have become technically. Adding that burnt taste to Hokkien Mee was something that I thought Swee Guan did exceptionally well in the past. Today I feel they have shied away from it a little, or maybe it's just a batch to batch thing. Even so, I think it's still the GOAT. You let me choose between any of the 4 plates that I had today, I'll choose Swee Guan. I hope I have done an adequate job of explaining Wok Hei. It's a bit tough to do it live and remain accurate, so if I get anything wrong, please correct me in the comment section. There is a difference between the burnt flavor and Wok Hei, and I think a lot of people use it interchangeably. And the tricky part is that there is some overlap. By vaporizing certain oils, you do get a burnt roasty flavor, but I hope to add some nuance to that. Alright, that's all I have for you guys this time. Wait, Audrey, how about the ratings? Eh? You can't tell? How about this? I'll pin the comment with the first correct answer. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!